Hello, hello everybody, hello. This is yet another day of the week. It is a Friday, woo! Friday, the 8th of May, our last day lockdown digital school. It is 12 p.m. and you know what time it is? It is time for English First Additional Language. And it is still me, your presenter, your teacher for the lesson. Without a waste of time, let us get on with it. I'm quite excited about today's lesson. Anyway, is anybody there? Please say hi. Let me recognize that you are part of today's lesson. Hello, everybody. Let me recognize you. Hello, hi. I see so many greetings in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us for today's lesson. Like I said, I'm already excited about it, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be good. We are going to learn like we learn every time. So, what is today's lesson all about? Today, we are going to be discussing dialogue. It is part of your transactional text. So, this is one thing we all need to know and understand because we may be, you may, and to answer about it, we are going to learn what a dialogue is, how to read a dialogue, as well as how to write a dialogue. Okay, so this is what today's lesson will be all about. And I realized that this week there was no homework, so there will be a homework today. Something to do for the weekend. To keep yourselves busy. So let's get on with today's lesson without a waste of time. But like we always do, before we get on with it, let us briefly recap what we did in the previous lesson, which was yesterday. If you remember well, yesterday we were on forum or panel discussion. We defined what a forum is, what a panel discussion is, as well as how it works, how it is conducted. And I also made an example that forum discussions, they go in the same way as you see on TV with your talk shows, that there will be a table there and there will be several people on the table. There will be a topic which will be thrown on the table, and those people will be speaking about that topic from different perspectives. Yesterday I made an example that with the COVID-19 pandemic, if that was a topic on a panel discussion, among the speakers there will be different people. There will be a politician, there will be a medical doctor, there could be also a nurse, there could be a high school student, you know, there could be a student from a university, there could be a traditional healer, there could be those people who use crystals, there could be people who are in homeopathy. So what that does is having different people from different fields, it helps to bring the different viewpoints about a topic. So that is really what happens with panel discussions. And I know it is something that which you have seen happen in talk shows, that they will bring different guests from different fields of study, from different careers, from different beliefs and things like that. So yesterday we also talked about the roles involved and how to play them in a forum or a panel discussion. We also learned about how the speakers take turns. You remember that the speakers should not interrupt each other. They should give each other chances to speak, and if it is necessary to interrupt a certain speaker, then you do so politely. Okay, you do so politely. You become cautious. Then we also learned about how to explain your viewpoints and to reach a consensus. Okay, we said that when you explain your viewpoints, you use those common words, you don't try to sound smart with those ambiguous words, with those English words that not many people know. Okay, because because what you're trying to do here, you are not trying to sound smart, but you are trying to communicate with people so that the people can understand you. We also talked about the need to use appropriate language, style, and register. You will realize also on talk shows, that there is a certain language that they use. They make sure that their language is appropriate. They do not use strong language or those words which can really degrade other people of certain classes, of certain socio-economic groups. So you make sure that the language you use is appropriate, and you also are careful to use appropriate style and register, and you're also careful also with the use of the pace or the tempo at which you speak. You do not speak too fast because people will not hear you, and that will be frustrating. And also, again, you do not speak too slow because people will get bored, you know. So you speak with a moderate pace. So that is what we did yesterday. And I hope everybody understood what yesterday really was all about. So now that yesterday's content is out of the way, then we can delve deeper with the lesson of the day. And remember, I said what we are doing today is the dialogue, and we will be learning about what a dialogue is. We will also learn about how to read a dialogue as well as how to write a dialogue. Remember last week when we did the reading process, I did say to you that the way you read a text depends on what kind of a text it is. Mhm. The way you read a newspaper, it is not the same as the way you read an essay. So again, the way you read a newspaper or a magazine, it is not the same as the way you are going to read a dialogue. And in this lesson, I am going to show you that. Are you all ready for today's lesson? I'm ready and I am excited. So let's get started with it. Yes, dialogue. To some extent, it has to do with dialogue. Speaking to some extent has to do with dialogue. And remember, I said speaking is very valuable asset, and in this case, even writing is. So remember, you should be taught or groomed to talk with ease and accuracy. I will not go through that again because we went through that in the past 2-3 days. So let's get on with today's lesson. Dialogue is going to be interesting, and I think especially for those of you who love performing arts, all of you who are into acting, this is something you will really relate so much with. And even if you are not into performing arts, this is something you need to know, you need to understand. And I have really tried to make it very interesting for everybody that you are going to learn, we are going to understand this because it is very important, not only for you to do it at school to earn good marks, but also after that, also in your career or whatever career aspirations you have, is really is important for you to understand this. Okay, so let's get on with it. A dialogue. Mhm. So a dialogue reflects a conversation between two or more people. Okay. So in case one of you is wondering why I say two or more people and you are between one person, like when you think to yourself, the answer is no. A dialogue is between two or more people. So if it was reflecting a conversation of one person, like your own conversation as you speak to yourself, with yourself, that will not be a dialogue. That will be what we call a monologue. Okay. So if it was a conversation between one person, a conversation between you yourself alone, then that is not a dialogue because you yourself, you are one person. So it is not a dialogue anymore. It is a monologue. Okay. Yes. But we are not on that. We are on dialogue because this is something very popular. A dialogue, it is a popular idea. So a dialogue is about reflecting a conversation between two or more people. I have an example to show you. We will get through that a bit later in the lesson. So what does a dialogue do? A dialogue, it records exchanges as they occur directly from the speaker's point of view. So, okay, I know some of you right now, you may be thinking that a dialogue really is identical to a direct speech. To some extent it is, but the way we write it is different. Remember with direct speech, remember that with direct speech, we use quotation marks to capture the words that a person says, right? But with the dialogue, we do not use quotation marks when we capture what a person said. Okay, so there is a different way how we do it. So let me go to that example. So you can see in this example, okay, when you just scan through it, there are no quotation marks, but don't worry, we'll get to that in a few minutes during the lesson. Because before we can get to fully understand the example that which I have given in this lesson, we first have to go through the features of a dialogue, which is what I am doing at the moment right now. So like I said, a dialogue, it records exchanges as they happen or as they occur directly from the speaker's point of view. So if we have person X speaking to person Y, then we are going to record what person X is saying to person Y from the perspective of person X. Okay, so really with a dialogue, you can think of it this way. Think of it like your favorite show on TV, your favorite soapy, all right? So you will realize that in your favorite soapy, when character X says I love you, you can see that oh, character X is saying to Y that character X loves Y, you know. So with the dialogue, that is how it is. Those exchanges, that conversation as it happens, it is recorded from every respective speaker's point of view. Another thing about a dialogue is that a dialogue is written in the form of a script. A dialogue is written in the form of a script. If you do not understand what that means, please bear with me. In the next few minutes, I'm going to demonstrate what that means. So a dialogue is written in the form of a script. So if you have been in performing arts, like you've acted before, you will realize that in the script, they will write the name of the character on the left side, then they will write a colon, then they will write the words that that character has to say. So if I am character X, then I'm going to read only the words written by character X in that script which has been given to me. I will show you that in a few minutes. So you write the names of the characters on the left side of the page. Yes, my example. So on my example, there they are. On the left side of the page, you can see on the left side of my page there, you can see the names of the characters or the names of the people. So we have Dr. May and Candice. Their names appear on the left side of the page. Not only that, you will also realize that the dialogue is written in the form of a script where the names of the characters are written in the left side, followed by a colon. Then on the right side, what is written is what they say, the words that which they say. Okay, let's continue. I'm going to go through this dialogue in detail so we can all get a better understanding of it. So that we can all get a better understanding of it, so that I can equalize, so that it should not be like those people who are acting or have acted before will benefit more than those who haven't. No, I want everybody, every learner who is part of the class, who is part of this lesson, to benefit from the lesson. Okay, let's continue. So yes, like I've said, use a colon after the name of the character who is speaking. Right, so okay, there's the character is Dr. May. Then you use a colon. After that, we write the words that Dr. May is speaking, or the words that Dr. May has spoken. Okay. Then use a new line to indicate each new speaker. Use a new line to indicate each new speaker. So you realize that after Dr. May has said what he said, we start from a new line for another speaker. So in this case, the other speaker is Candice. The other speaker is Candice. So there is her name, Candice, and we wrote it on a new line. After that, we wrote what Candice says. Okay, so advice characters or the readers on how to speak or how to present the action given in bracket. Let me say it again. Advise characters or readers on how to speak or present the action given in brackets before the words are spoken. So here's what that means. Here, you will realize that we wrote in brackets, she frowns a bit. So what is written in the brackets, it is not what she said. But what is written in the brackets is she feels or the actions that which the character does when they say what they are saying. I will get to that in a moment. All right. Okay. And another thing which may be good to do will be to sketch a scenario before writing. So with me, I didn't sketch a scenario here because this is not the script which was written by me, but this is a script that which I have asked for permission. So the script that which I'm using here, it is an excerpt which I am using with permission from KMP, Coaching Pickup Productions. So this is somebody who is into photography and videos. So there was one time where he wrote a script which was acted out. So this script which I'm using, it is an excerpt from the whole script which he wrote. So I just asked him for this scene because I found this scene to be interesting. I found this scene to be interesting, and I also found this scene to really be the same to be very interesting, and that it will really be helpful for today's lesson. So if you have a question so far, please remember to use the chat to ask your questions, and I will answer your questions, and I will clarify any and every concern that which you have. So now let us go to the script so we can analyze what a dialogue is and really how it works. Are you all ready? I am ready, so we can get started with it. So remember, like I said, this is not the script I wrote. I have asked to use it. So yes, KMP knows that I am using this the script today for this lesson. So yes, there it is. So this was scene one. Scene one. So in scene one, there is a clip of a sign showing surgery. So this means that in scene one, I mean, like you have seen in your favorite soapies that usually before every scene they show where that scene happens. Okay. So if maybe they are in your office, they will show some corporate buildings there, and then they will show the office. Then you will know that, oh, okay, so then this conversation which is happening right now, it is happening inside an office somewhere in all these corporate offices that we just saw. Right? So, okay, that is what this is about. It is a clip of a son showing a surgery, right? And then you realize this is a description of what is happening. Let me read it. In the doctor's consultation room, a doctor seems to be talking to a patient, and they leave the consultation room and head to the doctor's office. There, they sit down and they start talking. So, this is what is happening. It is the doctor with the patient, and they are in a consultation room. So, when the doctor talks to that patient, they leave the consultation room and they go to the office of the doctor. When they get to the doctor's office, they sit down and they start talking. Okay. So that is the picture that we now have in mind. That is the picture of what is happening right now. Okay. Please turn on your imagination, and think, turn on your imagination, think of the office of a doctor, and try to play this dialogue in your mind, play it like a movie, like a mini movie in your mind, so that today's lesson can be more meaningful for you. Okay. Okay. So yes, let's use what we have. Tune in our imaginations. Let's get on with the dialogue. Let's read. So remember, Dr. May, colon, what does this mean? This means that it is Dr. May who is speaking. So let's read. What does he say? So this is what Dr. May says. Remember, there are no quotation marks here, okay? Although this is the words that Dr. May are saying, but with a dialogue, there are inverted commas which are used to capture what the speaker is saying. Okay, that the use of quotation marks and the use of inverted commas, it is only for direct speech. So here with dialogue, here with the script, inverted commas, or as you call them, quotation marks, are not used. Okay, so what really communicates to us what the speaker is saying is the name of the speaker in on the left side as well as the colon. Okay, so that shows us that this speaker, Dr. May, says this. So what does he say? Let's read. I think next week Tuesday I will be in a better position to give you a clear indication of what we have found in all the tests we have been conducting. I am still going to consult with other specialists, and by next week, Tuesday, I will give you a comprehensive report in this regard. I hope that you will come with your husband so that I can explain it better to you both. Okay, so that's what Dr. Me said. Okay, let's continue. Candice, remember what is in the brackets, you do not necessarily read it out loud, but what is in the brackets communicates the kind of action that the character is doing when they say those words. So when Candice says these words, she frowns, okay? No, doctor, my husband is not around. He is traveling and he will be back after 2 weeks, so he won't be able to make it next week. So that is the type of the action of what is happening. Can whatever that Candice is saying now, she says it having frowned. Okay, she is frowning as she says this. So because of that, as you imagine it, you can imagine when somebody is saying something when they are frowning. You know, their tone will be down. They will sound downcast. They will sound sad because they are frowning. So the conversation continues. Dr. May, well, well, I think we should maybe wait for him to come back. Then, as Dr. May is speaking, Candice interrupts him, as written there in the brackets, interrupting the doctor. Okay, so it goes something like this. Well, I think we should maybe wait for him to come back. Then, doctor, I don't have the luxury of waiting. I'm the one. It's me who came to you, not my husband. So please, the sooner we do this, the better. So you can imagine what is happening in this case. You know that the way Candice is so frustrated that she starts, Tao was still speaking, Candice interrupts again, and that is what is being communicated by the script, by the dialogue at the moment. So the conversation continues. So Dr. May continues to speak. Pardon me, Mrs. Maboya. So I'm sorry for that, guys. So the conversation continues here. So Candice stands up when she says that. Exactly. Then she stands up. Okay. I will be here as early as 8 on Tuesday morning. Then she leaves the office. So what you should do is that when you read a dialogue, every word which is written in brackets, it is an action which is done by the character. So on this last one, after Candice has said exactly, she stands up. Okay. We hear something like the sound of a chair moving, or in our imaginations, as we imagine this scenario, we will see a woman standing up, being angry, and also hear the sound of a chair moving. It will be her standing up, from all that frustration. Not only that, and after that, she continues to say that I will be here as early as 8 on Tuesday morning. So after she has said that, she leaves the office. Okay. So that is the end of scene one. That is an example that which I was using to show you how a dialogue looks like, as well as how to read it. Okay. Yes. And from here, as you can see how it looks like, then this will also equip you on how to write it. Okay. And I will go through those instructions again about how to write a dialogue, because there is a homework where I am asking you to write a dialogue. Okay. So because of the homework, it is very important that you understand how to read a dialogue and also how to write a dialogue. Okay. So any questions so far? Please, if you have a question, do not hesitate to ask it. Use the chat, type for me your question, your concern, and I will attend to it as soon as it pops on my chat. I promise you. So that is what dialogue is all about. It's really straightforward enough. It is simple enough. It is interesting enough. And but if it happens that you have a question, please do not hesitate to ask. Do not be scared to ask. Yes, you have teeth, but we will not bite you. We will not. Remember, I am here to help you to understand. I'm here to help you to understand. So please help me to help you. Help me to do my work to fulfill my responsibility as a teacher, which is to help you. Okay. So that is how it goes with dialogue. Okay. So so remember, one good thing to do as far as dialogues are concerned is to really use your imagination. It really helps a lot. And for you, the artistic types, it may really help to just sketch the scenario. Okay. It will really help you on how to write the dialogue. Because if you sketch the scenario, you will get to see and to understand what is the context in which you will be writing. Whether are those people inside the house, are they in the kitchen, are they in the bathroom, are they outside, maybe under the tree, in the park, in the shop, you know something like that. So that is the setting, and those settings will really help you when you are writing your dialogue. So remember what I said. Let me go back a few slides. So all these instructions are about how to write a dialogue. So this really is the format of a dialogue. I have shown you in my example, and I have also presented to you what happens in a dialogue and how it looks like. Okay, so that is how a dialogue looks like I've shown you in my example, that you write the names of the characters on the left side, then you write a colon after that, then and towards the right side you are going to write what that character is saying. And remember, no quotation marks, no inverted commas to be used in this case when we capture what the person is saying. And remember that if you want to communicate a certain action that the character does, those actions you write them inside brackets. Okay, so inside the brackets you write those actions like I did here for Candice. Remember, here she was frowning, therefore inside the brackets I write she frowns a bit. Okay, so but it is not really always that what is written in the brackets will be written at the beginning. Sometimes a certain action will happen maybe in the middle of the statement of the character, like I have demonstrated here, that Candy said exactly. After she said exactly, that is when she was standing up. That is why even here they wrote standing up in brackets after the word exactly, because she said exactly first before she was standing up. Okay, yes. And remember everything we already know right now, punctuation marks, they are very important in this case. Your commas, your question marks, your exclamation marks, your full stop, they are very important and they need to be used. So with just a few minutes left before the lesson, I will take this moment to summarize it. So this really is just the takeaway that a dialogue, what does it do for us? A dialogue, it affords us an opportunity to capture the essence of the event. Without seeing it or watching it on video or hearing the audio. So one thing is that, like I've already said, from where I got this script from KMP, this script was acted out. There is a video for this. Okay, so for me, it is more meaningful because I have seen the video. Okay, so what this dialogue does is it helps us, those who haven't seen that video, to really understand and to know what really happened in that event. So in scene one, what do we get? We know what happened. We get the fact that there is a patient and a doctor. They were in the consulting room. Then they went to the doctor's office. Then the doctor was talking to the patient, but because the doctor didn't have good news for the patient was frustrated, the patient was frowning. It got to the point where the patient didn't even let the doctor to finish speaking because of how frustrated she was. And the patient eventually had to stand up before the doctor was done speaking, and the patient stormed out of the doctor's office. So that is what happened, and all that we get it from reading that dialogue. Okay, so reading a dialogue is a very special skill, and the way you read a dialogue, it is not the same as the way you read a newspaper or a novel. Okay, so that is how we read a novel. Remember, every time you read a novel, turn on your imagination, visualize as much as you can what is happening, so that what you are reading will really come back home, will really be understandable to you, it will be more meaningful to you. And when you do that, it will look like you are watching what is happening in the dialogue instead of reading it. And that will be great, that will be amazing, that will be awesome, because you will get to understand the essence of what is happening in the dialogue that which you are reading. Okay, so you will not really have to see, you don't have to see this video because you read the dialogue, and the dialogue has informed us, has told us, it has illustrated to us what was really happening in that scene. Okay. So here's a question in the chat. Lesedi is asking, when you are writing a script, do you have to use a dialogue? Yes, remember what I said. Let me go back to that slide for you. Remember what I said? I said that a dialogue is written in the form of a script. So what I was showing you, that example was a script of a dialogue. Okay. So a dialogue is when a dialogue is a conversation between two or more people. So if let's say it was you and I, we were speaking, we were talking to each other, our conversation there will be our dialogue. Okay. So then if I was going to write our conversation, I will be writing our conversation, which is a dialogue, and I will be writing that conversation as a script. Okay, do you understand now? I will say it again. So if I was speaking to you, Lisedi, that is our conversation, that is our dialogue. So if I was going to write that dialogue down, I am going to write it in the form of a script. Okay, and that is an example of a script where I'm going to write your name, then write the colon, then I write what you said to me. Okay. After that, on the next new line, I'm going to write my name, then write a colon, then I wrote what I said to you in response to what you said to me. Okay. So that is how it is, Lisedi. Thank you. I'm glad you understand. Thank you so much. That is a good question. Thank you so much for your wonderful question, Lisedi. So this is the end of the lesson, but before we close, remember I said we have a homework, the only homework for the week. So in this homework, I am asking you to write a dialogue of a conversation you had between you and your best friend that occurred when you first saw each other for the first time this year when schools reopened on 15 January 2020. So in this homework, I am asking you to write a dialogue of the conversation you had with your friend when the schools were reopening for term one this year. That is interesting, isn't it? Hmm? Wow, that is a very interesting question, don't you think? So yes, that is what I'm giving you for homework. Write for us, the dialogue. Remember, you write the dialogue in the form of a script, like I showed you in that example. So yes, this is for homework. Write the dialogue of a conversation that happened between you and your best friend when the schools were reopened for term one this year in January. Okay, so in that dialogue, remember, it may be good for you to just sketch it, to sketch it. I mean, this conversation, did you have it in the classroom, or did you have it outside on the playground? Okay, or did you have it next to the cafeteria at school, or did you have it maybe in the office, wherever, so that will really help to bring the setting so that you will know, okay, if for example the conversation was outside, then you may write a description that, okay, we were outside next to our classroom and the wind was blowing. Okay, and because the wind was blowing, your friend said something, and as your friend was saying something, your friend's scarf was blown away by the wind and the scarf covered your friend's face. Then your friend then muffled as they said something, yeah, something like that. Just think about it and it's going to be amazing. So please guys, please write a dialogue of a conversation between you and your best friend, and I'm going to ask you that on Monday, please, okay, type it on your phone or wherever. Then on Monday you can share it on the chat and we can really see how you wrote it. If you understood with the lesson for Monday. Okay, so remember, this is the Although this is the end of the lesson, it's not the end of our communication. We are on social media, so please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember to use the hashtag lockdown is school to speak to us. We want to hear your concerns, your challenges, your compliments, your comments, your complaints. Yes, all of them. Help us to help you. So, from the rest of us at STEM Lockdown Digital School, this is the end of the lesson. You have a good day and have a wonderful, great, awesome weekend. Keep well, take care. Remember to do the homework, and we'll meet on Monday again, same time, same place. I love you all. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.